So when you're ready to date again, you will be in good shape because of the work you've done in my divorce recovery process. Healthy persons tend to choose healthy partners. But I want to make sure you choose the best partner to date and to marry. You've got to get this one right. You don't want to make a mistake. You want to find the person who will make a great spouse for the rest of your life. God wants you to have a complete reset and really be happy, no matter what happened in your previous marriage or marriages. Here's a list of losers you must stay away from at all costs. Each one has a red flag, actually a red blanket, attached to the back of his or her head. Again, I'm going to talk about men that are losers here, but women are losers too. So just change the sexes in your head. It's the same thing. If you come across one of these losers, immediately run, screaming your head off, away from him or her down the opposite side of the street, and do not look back. First loser, Mr. I'm not a Christian. This should be the first question you ask a potential date. In fact, don't even date the person before you ask this question. And get the answer. Do you have a personal relationship with God through his son, Jesus Christ? If he pauses, don't date him. If he says no, don't date him. If you marry someone who isn't a Christian, you will never be able to spiritually bond. Never going to happen. Can happen. He doesn't know Jesus. There is no spiritual life. So you will never be truly one flesh, like it talks about in Genesis 2:24. And don't think, well, he'll become a Christian along the way. No, maybe he won't. You know how many marriages I've seen where especially the woman has married a non-Christian man and 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 35 years later, he's still not a Christian? No, don't do it. Mr. I'm a weak Christian. If your potential date says he's a Christian, follow up with these questions. And again, a true growing Christian has no problem with these questions. In fact, he would like to be asked these questions. When did you become a Christian? Are you growing in your relationship with Jesus? What are you doing to grow in this relationship? Do you regularly attend a local church? Do you have a daily quiet time in which you pray and read the Bible? Do you tithe to your local church? A weak Christian may always remain weak. You don't want one like that. You want a partner who has a strong, growing relationship with Jesus right now. You're thinking, Dave, there aren't many guys like this. There aren't many women like this. You're right, but you need to find one. They're out there. Mr. I'm a mama's boy. Now look, having said that, I was a mama's boy. My mom was wonderful. We were very close. We talked a lot throughout her entire life. However, I'm my own man, and she didn't direct and guide my life and make my decisions for me. That's what I'm talking about here. This man's way too attached to his mama. He calls her just about every day, which wouldn't be so bad, but here's the kicker. He can't make a move without her advice and approval. In fact, she's making the decisions in his life. She is his top priority, which means you never will be. He's not going to grow up to be a man. Walk away. Mr. I'm tied to my ex. I see a lot of this. You probably have too in your life. He is way too attached to his ex, or it could be she's way attached to her ex. It's hard to tell they're divorced because he does everything her way. She continues to run his life. She makes all the decisions about their kids. She plans and controls all family activities. In fact, she wants to attend almost every family activity. She runs his life. If you marry him, you are marrying her too, and it ain't ever going to stop. In addition to being too tied to his ex, he's a wimp. He's not going to stand up to his ex, which means you're going to lose respect for him. Mr. I won't do conflict. These guys are everywhere. He refuses to talk through conflicts with you. He avoids conflict like the plague, and when it does surface, he shuts down and will not deal with it. Dump this gutless loser, because you have to work through all conflicts in a relationship. You want a real man, not that nobody likes conflict, but he'll deal with it, he'll manage it, he'll talk it through with you. Make sure that's true before you ever marry him. Mr. I have a temper. Don't marry a guy that's a rager. Don't do it. Most of these guys, he's wonderful 95% of the time, but it's that 5% when he loses his grip that you don't need. He blows up unpredictably, and it's not pretty. He raises his voice, he rants, and has a fit when something bothers him. Maybe he's sorry afterwards, but who cares? That is a dysfunctional pattern. He's got a long list of things that bother him. Sometimes he's fine with something. Sometimes he's not. You never know the difference. You're walking on eggshells around this guy. If he does this anger routine when you're dating, it will get worse when you marry him. Walk away. In fact, run away. You want a guy that gets angry but maintains his poise, all right, and can work through it with you. Mr. I'm always right. Boy, this gets old. This is the know-it-all. He somehow always has the best solution to a problem. He's done it. He's been there. He knows someone who has. It gets old. It's like dating the Google search engine because he knows everything. Your opinion doesn't count. Unless you're okay with always doing everything his way, lose his contact information and move on. This kind of person is always correcting you. No, that wasn't right. No, that wasn't right. No, this is true. You're telling a story in front of friends. He'll correct you. That is a pain in the keister. Get away from him. Mr. I won't talk. He won't talk personally. He won't share his emotions. You think he's a deep well and there's a lot of great emotions in there. No, they're not. There's nothing in there. He won't share his opinions. It's impossible to have a deep conversation with him. You think the more you know him that he'll open up and change. No, he won't. They always stay this way. Do not think he'll suddenly start talking after marriage. You might as well marry a couch because at least it's good for something. I'm just telling you, don't go there. You want a guy you can engage with. Deeper conversations. Mr. My past is a secret. Not a good sign. Walk away. He won't talk about his childhood. He won't talk about his family. He won't talk about his previous girlfriends. He won't talk about his previous wife. He won't talk about his previous work. He's either in the CIA or he's an alien from another planet. Either way, get rid of this mystery man. He'll never tell you anything deep and important, ever. And most of our conversations are about the past. You can get deep conversations about things that have happened before. He doesn't do that. Mr. I can't keep a job. Don't go there. He has gone from job to job to job. Doesn't know what he wants to be when he grows up. Amazingly, each job loss was not his fault. It's never his fault. He's been on unemployment more than he's worked at a job. If you value financial security, and most women do, men too for that matter, stop dating this loser. He's never going to get it right. You'll support him forever, and you'll lose respect and love for him. Mr. I'm in a custody battle. Oh, the nightmare scenarios I've seen in new marriages because of a nasty ongoing custody battle. At first, you're joining forces with your new partner and you're fighting with him against the ex. That gets old. 3 months, 6 months, 2 years in, it will destroy your relationship. He's in a vicious all-out battle with his ex over their kids. He may even be in the right. Probably is. Doesn't make any difference. Your relationship can't tolerate it. His life, and now your life, is consumed with attorneys, court appearances, and legal costs. I don't care how cute his kids are or how big a witch his ex is, get away from him. These custody battles never end. You can't build the new relationship because your whole life is the custody battle. And even if he wins, he loses, and so do you, because the ex never gives up, ever. Drag back to court, drag back to court, drag back to court. Or you're going to be punished, the two of you, because of the fact that you won the battle. Mr. I want to be a citizen. Don't even think about going there. He desperately wants to become an American citizen. Yeah, who doesn't? You are a citizen, so by marrying you, he will have a path to his citizenship. Is he truly in love with you or in love with the citizenship you can give him? Don't know. There's no way to tell. Give him the number of an immigration attorney and walk away. If he becomes a citizen and you still want to date him, fine. This actually happened to a relative of ours, and it was a devastating experience. This guy was smooth. He was a narcissist. He charmed her. She married him. A couple years later, it was only to get his citizenship. Oh my goodness, don't do it. Mr. I am possessive. He loves you so much that he wants you all to himself. He asks you to cut off your family and your friends. Now, he will graciously allow you to have limited time with those close to you, always on his schedule. Flee from this controlling jerk. It will never stop. After marriage, he'll try to control every aspect of your life. Mr. I was not at fault. He accepts no blame for the failure of his previous marriage or marriages. He tells you all the marital problems were the fault of his ex. Every single one of them. That's not functional and it's not true. Now, the divorce may not have been his fault, but we all contribute to our marital problems. Guess who he's going to blame when the two of you have marital problems? Yeah, move on and move on quickly. Mr. I'm still married. It doesn't matter if he's in a divorce process, he's still married. It doesn't matter if he's separated from his wife. A lot of folks think, hey, I'm separated. It's like I'm divorced. No, you're not. It's not like you're divorced. You're not divorced. By dating him, you are committing adultery. Don't do that. That's not a great way to begin a relationship. Confess your sin to God and say goodbye to this husband, because that's what he still is. Doesn't matter if they're in a divorce process and he's divorcing her. Do not date someone who is still married. Mister, I am an active addict. I've got no problem with an addict who is in recovery and is walking with the Lord and is solid. Hey, most of us have addictions. That's fine to something. If that's the case, fine. I'm not talking about that. This is an active addiction. He is currently struggling with an addiction. Alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, spending. He says he wants to get into recovery, but he's not yet. Let someone else take on this project. Mister, I want to live together. I've got other podcasts, frankly, and videos on this. Check out the archives. Big mistake. This guy loves you, but doesn't want to marry you, at least not yet. He wants to live with you and see how things go. That's what couples are doing more and more these days, Christians and non-Christians alike. Big mistake. Not what the Bible wants you to do. Listen to me. He doesn't love you. This guy's not committed to you and probably never will be. Living together is not going to help you. The statistics are clear. Couples that live together don't end up getting married at a high rate. And those that do get married fail at a higher rate. It doesn't work. Why? Because it's sinful. 1 Thessalonians 4:3, Hebrews 13:4. Look up those verses. You're going to pay a high price for living together. In fact, here's the price: a loss of respect for each other. Now, I've seen this over 35 years. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not making it up. This isn't theory. Loss of respect, loss of trust, loss of love, loss of closeness with God because you're sinning. Loss of the ability to spiritually bond, loss of God's blessing, a loss of your relationship. Couples that live together tend to not get married, like I said before, and couples who live together and get married get divorced at a higher rate. Don't go there. When a man or a woman asks you to live together without marriage, yell, "Look behind you." When he turns to look, run the other way.